It's Joe Berardi, and what I want to talk about today are the three things that are one of my favorite things to talk about. I like to break it down into three components called time, talent, and treasure. And those are three important aspects or pillars in our life that I think that we often kind of fall short on. And I like to take them one at a time and go through them and kind of like prick some of those concepts and kind of tweak them within your mind, get you to start to think about how you view things in life, and perhaps maybe even change a few of your habits, some of the things that may have been holding you back from maybe reaching that potential that each of us have. And I know in my own life I've seen it's the cause and effect of it. And so the first one I'd like to talk about is time. How do you use your time? How do you view time and its relationship to your progression? And we progress on all sorts of different levels, and how we use our time actually defines where we end up in life. If you look at all the successful people, the difference between those who are the most successful, and whatever that definition is, whether it's an individual definition or society's definition of success, those who have reached that use their time differently. And if you look at the most successful people in life, the only difference between them and us, perhaps, is the use of their time. Yeah, maybe they were born with a certain advantage, maybe not. There's a lot of people that have become successful based on their hard work and their own particular effort. But it's really how they use their time. And if you really took an inventory daily, a log of what you do with your time, I think you'd be surprised, maybe a little bit disappointed with a lot of the waste, a lot of the things we do that really produce nothing. And if you realize how valuable our time is, I think you would kind of like readjust maybe some of the habits that you have and change some of the things in your life. I know personally I have. So for the next 48, 72 hours, whatever you want, log down what you do with your time, how much time you sleep, how much time you put into exercise, how much time you're working on projects, how much time you spend with family, how much time you spend just watching TV, how much time you eat. I mean, just log it down. I know it sounds like kind of a funny thing to do, but in reality, if you don't start looking at where you invest your time, then you'll kind of like see what's happening in your life. I mean, the saying is, who you write your checks to tells me a lot about who you pay and show importance to. And so in reality, our use of our time is actually an illustration of where we're going in life and how we see ourselves. So time is a very interesting concept. I mean, it doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are. There's no difference between the richest man in the world and the poorest man in the world when it comes to time. The only difference is how each one of them uses their time. You see, we have 24 hours in a day. We've got 1,440 minutes in a day, and we have 84,000 seconds in a day. Every day, we get to use it over and over again the same amount of time. What we do with that time is the difference. What are you doing with your time? Is your time being spent working towards your goals? Is your time being spent wisely investing it in those things that are going to move you forward towards those things that are most important to you? And the great part about it is you get to decide what that is. You get to decide what's important. Do you want to be financially successful? You define that. Do you want to get into the best shape of your life? You can, regardless of your age. You can do that. Do you want to improve your relationships with your family, your friends? Do you want to learn a new skill? Work on a talent. all of that takes time. See, time is finite. Eventually that time will run out for each of us. Somewhere down the line, we don't know when, but eventually our time here on this earth will pass. What we've done with our time will really be the portrait of who we've become. What we don't want to do is live with regret. We don't want to, at the end of our days, lying on our deathbed, look through the panorama of our life and have regret, wishing we could have done something different. Don't leave it for then to think about that regret. Change now. The great part about life is we're allowed to change every single day. We just have to understand how time plays in to that stretch of mortality. What are you doing with your time? You know, when I wanted to change and I wanted to change some of my habits, maybe get in better shape or lose some weight or just overall change things in my life, I had to look at what was I doing with my time. And what I found was very interesting is I found that I was wasting a lot of time, whether it was just sitting in front of a TV and watching program after program, until really I kind of like fell into a trance. I didn't even realize what I was watching. I mean, it just like all of a sudden, have you ever kind of like late at night, you're just watching TV and you just kind of zone out, and eventually you just kind of like, wake up and realize, oh my gosh, you've been watching something over and over and over again. Really? I mean, is that what life is about? Just wasting time? Now, there are good things, that we can do perhaps with entertainment or maybe perhaps TV, but I bet you if you started to cut out a lot of the time-wasting activities in your life and started to refocus on those bucket list things you have or those things that you have always wanted to do, you'll find that your life will become more fulfilling for you. I know I did when I wanted to change my life. I started to direct my energy away from TV, away from just sitting around and doing nothing, to actually engaging in things that promoted what I wanted to do with my life. Time. Understanding the value of time and using it to your advantage. Think about it. What would you like to do, and what are the steps that are going to get you there? All have to do with how you use your time. Remember, success is never an accident.